And we're live. Scott Mackay, I feel like I just talked to you like 5 minutes ago.
I think my computer froze. No, I was just kidding.
I got really nervous for a second.
No, I'm excited to be here. It's round two. This is two, right? With Kane County Sheriff Ron Hain.
Yeah, this is number 2 that we're doing here on this platform. We're streaming all over the place on our Facebook page. We're also on our website, 959theriver.com. But if you're watching already, you already know that.
And it's a good opportunity for you to learn what's going on in Kane County. And obviously, Sheriff Ron Hain chooses the topics. And with the summer coming up, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to look out for and maybe be aware of. And
yeah, like, do we need to hide our fireworks? I mean, I'm asking for a friend, obviously.
I'm asking for my son. Oh, there he is. Hi, Sheriff Hain. I don't know if you could hear our earlier conversation, and State's Attorney Mosser is here as well. How are you?
Yeah, good. Our detectives are preparing a search warrant for Danielle's house.
Whoops.
Excellent. Welcome.
Clark's got him. Clark, take the fireworks and run.
Hey, Danielle.
Focus.
So anyways, I always like to travel with my attorney. So Kane County State's Attorney, the Kane County State's Attorney, Jamie Mosser, is here with us today like she was last time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Of course. It's good to have you back. I thought we learned a lot about Kane County last time you guys were on, and I'm excited about what you have to share with us today.
I know that we talked a little bit about the Justice Reform Bill last time, but are there any updates? Is there anything else that we want to add to that conversation?
Absolutely. So we have, thank you. So part of, just to let everybody know, when this first started, it was about in December when it was passed as a House bill, and it was about 611 pages. And then through a series of amendments, it became 764 pages somehow, and it was passed in a lame duck session. It was passed at the very early morning hours, and then eventually was signed into law by the governor. So the weird thing for me as an attorney is now we're working on language to change it, because I always thought that it would be correct and you put it into a law, but it's called trailer bills essentially. So the Kane County State's Attorney's Office, the Will County, the DuPage County, Lake County, and Cook County State's Attorneys have all been participating in meetings with our Sheriff's Association, our Chiefs of Police, and several other people with these sponsors of this House bill to tell them our ideas behind it and propose our suggestions. So we've had a series of meetings starting last week that went through the weekends, about 2 or 3 hours a day, just proposing language and changes to try to make this bill better for everybody, because we really need, obviously, criminal justice reform. That's huge. We've seen it. We've seen that our system is broken. We know that mass incarceration doesn't work. We know that, unfortunately, people of minority communities and lower income communities have been over-policed. So we need change. There's no question about it. But we have to have change that's based with the safety of the entirety of the public, including our officers throughout that process.
And it has to be realistic change as well. And that's one of the concerns we're seeing. Again, Jamie and I really like the idea of the reform bill. We like a lot of the content of it. We're already doing a vast majority of it when it comes to police training and body cameras and policy. So we're not scared of any of that. But when you paint all police with a broad sweeping brush, and just overhearing the legislator call that she was just on, and the viewpoint on that side of, they just think we're stormtroopers, brainless, faceless stormtroopers. When you bring up the point, hey, when an officer is involved in a shooting, that trauma that they go through, they might not even return to the job, because they're human beings. So they take the uniform off, they go home to their family every night, they put their kids to bed, they get up the next day, and they do it again, just like the rest of us do. And I should say the rest of you guys, you guys do. So it's really disheartening to see that positioning that police can be treated like robots.
So does the public get a chance to see what you're proposing right now? I mean, have you gotten any feedback from outside of your inner community there?
Yeah, we've been sharing a fair amount, mostly via social media. We've done quite a few articles, both together and separately with local newspapers and even Chicago media. And the public has been in overwhelming support, and
Excellent.
those that in support of what we're saying. Because again, we're progressive. We like justice reform. So it's not like we're trying to fearmonger anything. We're just trying to be realistic in what we're talking about. And they don't seem to want to come off. And I'll give you one other example, the electronic monitoring, new portion of the statute that says you have 48 hours to turn yourself in after you cut off your electronic monitoring bracelet. The only reason someone's going to cut off their electronic monitoring bracelet is to go commit a crime or because they want to escape. And you give that person 48-hour window, what kind of damage can they do in 47 and a half before they have to walk in the front doors of the sheriff's office? So that is, when it comes to public safety, incredibly alarming to me. I don't know about you.
Well, it is. I mean, there's a lot of things in there that from our practical perspective of the police knowing and being out there, and from the prosecutor's perspective of what we want to do in cases, we want to be there and we want to help propose things. We don't want to fight it. We don't want to stop it all from happening. We just want to be a part of that discussion. So Sheriff Hain and I are committed to making sure that we're out there as much as possible. We're talking about the good. We're talking about the bad, to the point where I even have an intern with me today. So I'm just going to embarrass her a little bit. Her name is Julia Burke. Pop on in, Julia. So Julia has been shadowing me for the past couple of days, and she's been able to attend these meetings because she's going to start helping to draft a lot of this, the press releases that we want to put out so that we can inform the community and we can be a part of this process. So she's soon going to U of I, where she wants to engage in a career involving politics and the law and all of that stuff. And we're trying to dissuade her from doing that, obviously.
That's one heck of an internship. I interned at the river for my career, and it was a very different experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So that's great. So she's going to end up doing all your paperwork, is what you're telling me.
Yes, that is what
I
I
told
do.
you that early on. Scott,
Yeah.
that she has an intern that just follows her around. Coffee, paperwork, lunch. I think
Sheriff
even
Hain
too.
actually got me the coffee earlier, so
I did.
if
Wow.
that's an intern, there you go.
Yeah,
That's a
we have
true
really-
servant of the community,
We
right?
have a really pared down budget here at the sheriff's office to be responsible to our taxpayers. So, hey, I have to get the coffee.
Yes.
And
You could probably cut back on the chairs. You have a lot of them in that office right there.
good idea. Hey, a previous sheriff bought those. That wasn't me. So we're just recycling.
So what else do we want to talk about? What other kind of conversations do we want to get started today?
So one thing that we're excited about here at the Sheriff's Office, we talk a lot about our corrections programs that we run down in the jail, and reentry is so important when it comes to that. So how do we exit people back out in the community? How do we find those people coming back from Department of Corrections? Because Department of Corrections really provides absolutely no support when they return people home. So we've been looking for a brick and mortar place, starting in Aurora, was where we were going to make a hub, and then we'd ultimately like to have one up in Elgin. Well, we finally found the right one yesterday. It's going to cost us about $500 a month in rent, but we're going to be able to run all of our reentry group sessions down there. So the guys coming out of recovery pods, so they can do face-to-face group sessions. It's got a separate office area so they can do their trauma care and one-on-one sessions. And we can run all our jobs training programs, like we're doing the OSHA and the forklift training, which, by the way, go to Kane. You can go to canesheriff.com, or you can look us up on Facebook, Kane County Sheriff's Office, and you'll see that we have an upcoming forklift training class available to the public. So we've been pretty much selling out all of these in the community. And at the end of it comes job fair. So if people are not employed when they come to take either the OSHA or the forklift class, we get them one by the end of class. So that's kind of our commitment to the community, that one of the biggest keys to ending recidivism and keeping families united and keeping people productive is employment. And we've got it here. We've got the platform. So very cool to have a place downtown Aurora, 122 West Downer is where we'll be working out of, and we'll be able to touch a lot of folks in that community.
And you said people can find out more about that on your website and on your Facebook, right?
They can find out about the forklift and OSHA classes right now on Facebook and our website. And we'll be making further announcements. It's probably going to be a little more intimate when it comes to the brick and mortar, where just people who are reentering are going to know about that zone. Cool. As our meeting point.
That's
obviously a great program, and going to be good for people trying to get back into the community and make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the whole idea is we want to give them structure. When they're in jail or they're in prison, they have structure all throughout the day. And then what we do is we're just like, okay, goodbye, good luck. Hopefully you don't come back. And so that's one of the things, for example, in this criminal justice reform bill that they're doing is they're actually taking away mandatory supervised release for our lower felony offenders, our class 3 and class 4 felonies, which means there's no one out there afterwards. I think that much like Sheriff Hain said, we just need to change the way that we do it. We have to focus on treatment. We have to focus on job placement because we don't want them to commit another crime. But why do they commit another crime? When they don't have resources, when they don't have treatment, when they don't have some sort of support that puts them down the path of being a productive citizen. And so I believe within every part of my being that that's what we're doing here in Kane County. And we should be a model for what it should be for the rest of the state and frankly all of the states, because the idea is that there's still people. Let's get them down the right path.
Musser for president.
No,
so one of the
thank you.
One of the most interesting things, I just love the way she gives speeches. One of the most interesting things that I've learned through this process of watching detainees re-enter the community and be successful and working at a very low level with them. You know, we all think we've never been locked up before, except maybe Scott. I think there's some questionable history there. But we all think, you know, man, if I was in jail, I could not wait for that moment to get out. But if you spend the majority of your adult life going through the revolving door of modern corrections, there's almost a sense of security while in custody at that point. And seeing these guys exit out and you think, oh, you're going to sleep great tonight. You're going to be so excited. You get to reconnect with your family. There is so much baggage there. And it's so hard for them to reintegrate. And now I really see, again, a very low level, how hard it is for people to do that and why they recidivize if we're not working directly with them constantly, even up to a year plus in time, to make sure they feel that support and have all the resources that they need wrapped around them, let alone seeing a lot of these gentlemen reconnect with their wives. You know, that's been one of the most interesting things to watch is, you know, it was kind of easy to be married while the person was in custody and now they got to live with them full time.
Right.
Yeah. So don't be trying to get your wife in trouble, Scott, and your husband in trouble, Jamie. But no, it's all been very interesting psychology that I really never experienced before.
Well, I've heard so many stories of people wanting to go back to jail because of the comfort of the system. You know, not that that's really what they want to be, but they don't know how to be anywhere else because some are lifetime criminals coming out of it and some are short time. But you don't know where to go. You don't know where to turn. You don't know how to get a job. No one's going to give me any of those things. So your resources are limited.
Well, it's so crazy how much the world can change in a year. I mean, think about our last year. Think about your life 2 years ago compared to your life today and how you go about your daily activities. And when you're out in the public and you're interacting with people, it gives me stress. And I haven't spent time in jail, let alone somebody who's been, you know, in jail this whole time and, you know, re-entering a society where everything is different. That just adds to the stress.
Yeah, everybody has a certain level of agoraphobia right now, which is a good segue for summertime safety. So a couple of things that I want people to be alert about when it comes to the summer months ahead. Number one, fireworks. I know this is a very polarizing topic. Some people love them and think we're horrible police officers when we put a stop to it. It is.
Don't tell me you're selling them this year.
No, we're not selling them.
Not with his attorney present.
Yeah, not ever. I would never engage in anything like that. So it is illegal in the state of Illinois to possess fireworks, and it's certainly illegal to sell fireworks. So we have one of 9 explosive teams throughout the state of Illinois here at the Kane County Sheriff's Office. These guys get really busy this time of year. They're actually getting proactive as well, where they're seeking out people who are selling large grade explosive fireworks. Last year, it just feels like yesterday. Last year does. They made 3 pretty large felony arrests between Aurora and Elgin for people selling large grade fireworks. So again, folks, it is illegal. It's very dangerous. The lower grade stuff, if you're experiencing people in your neighborhood that perpetually annoy you at 11 o'clock at night with fireworks, you're more than welcome to call your local law enforcement. We always encourage people to at least help us identify what house they're coming from, because a lot of people will just call us and say, there's fireworks in my neighborhood. Click. And then, you know, by the time the deputy or the officer gets there, there's no noise. And then they call back 45 minutes later when they start up again. So please help us out a little bit with at least helping us identify where it's at, and even talking to an officer or a deputy.
There's so many great local fireworks shows, legal fireworks shows going on too. So you don't even have to deal with the danger of handling fireworks. You can go and actually probably sit in the comfort of your own car and watch a great fireworks show in the area. So
Sure can.
And the danger is there. So one of the investigations that happened is here, we saw how the person was transporting them, and it was 20 of them all in a bag. And then just as a demonstration, they took 2 of them, put them in a car, like a controlled thing, and just lit those 2, blew up the entirety of that car, just 2. So the problem is these people don't have the experience with it. They're transporting it. Any type of friction at that point could blow up not only themselves, but all the people who are around. So just be smart about this stuff, because obviously we have a proactive sheriff. There is a state's attorney who's going to prosecute as a result of this. Just be safe.
can you give us citizens arrest badges, Sheriff? And I will go around and I will tell people that they are arrested.
They're arrested.
No, I can't do that. That's not really a thing. So
It's not really a thing.
you're more than welcome to take our deputy test, Danielle. So I know you have a history in radio, but if you want a new career direction,
Done.
we'd love to have you at the show.
Deputy Danielle.
Yeah, I can see it.
Is that a
I
nice
know she
ring?
can handle herself. The other thing I wanted to talk about, unfortunately, because of COVID and people being stuck inside, we have seen an increase in DUI arrests, DUI crashes, and DUI severity. By severity, I mean the level of intoxication of the people being arrested for DUI. Obviously, this creates a grave danger for everybody else in the driving community, and we just need to be very cautious while on the roadway, and know that your local law enforcement, the sheriff's office has its own traffic team. We have an interdiction team that really focuses on drug trafficking. They've moved their hours to 5 p.m. at night to 1 in the morning, Tuesday through Saturday, to focus on these type of issues during the summer months. So we're going to be beefing up patrols. If you want to drink and drive, there's a great thing called Uber and Lyft, or get a friend, call a relative, and don't drink and drive, because we're going to be dropping the foot down on it.
Don't be a dope. I mean, think about the person that you love the most in the world. And even if you don't care about your own safety, imagine the person that you love the most in the world minding their own business, driving down the street, and a drunk driver hits them. So let alone are you affecting your life when you're driving drunk? And if something happens, you're affecting the person that you crash into, potentially their whole family. And so there's just so many reasons not to be a dope.
Yeah, DUIs are not a new topic to people, so this shouldn't be really exciting that the sheriff's actually talking about it. I just want it to be on everyone's radar, just because of the rate that we're seeing it, and the fact that we have beefed up those patrols. So listen to that balance, folks. We're talking about in history all our correctional programs and trying to re-enter people who were arrested, and then obviously as the sheriff, I have the other hat of chief law enforcement officer, along with the state's attorney, also has the same title in the county. So we bring enforcement hard and as needed.
Can I ask you a question about driving? So here we are in, at the COVID time where the roads were a lot more empty, which seemed to give, the first day that I drove back to the radio station after being off for a couple of months, people were passing me. Like I was going 45, the speed limit, and they were passing me at 55, 65 miles an hour. And this is on Kirk Road. So I take Kirk Road right into Farnsworth to the radio station, and I'm going, wow. So I'm coming home yesterday, and there's 3 cars weaving in and out at the 45 mile an hour thing, going about 60 miles an hour. And now traffic has come back, and it's that much more dangerous going that fast. Is there a number I can call to get somebody to stop them?
Yeah. Do you have a pen?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
911.
For traffic, you wouldn't dial a 311 or anything?
You call the same, if you call a non-emergency number to a dispatch center, the same person's going to answer it as if you call 911. So,
okay.
Yeah, because I guess it's a threat to society too. I mean, they can hurt someone doing that.
Huge.
It's
huge
the same
issue.
way if you see somebody weaving around the roads and you think that they may be intoxicated.
Mhm.
Call 911, because that's the quickest way. I have to tell you, the law enforcement intervention with that DUI means that they're not going to crash into somebody else. And what we see from our cases of the people who cause accidents and cause great bodily harm and cause deaths, the DUI driver always walks away fine.
I was driving
relaxed.
I was driving into work one day, and or back to the station for some reason, and my son was with me, and we saw a white van. This was about a year ago. We saw a white van just going back and forth, and I thought maybe there's something wrong with the car, but this guy was totally loaded, and I actually called somebody and the police arrived before I got too far away. But he was there was no one else on the road but the two of us.
Yeah.
So
No,
Scott, you saved a life right there.
You did.
You know it.
yeah, I do now. I didn't think about it until you just said it.
Deputy Scott.
I saved my own life. That's what I didn't even dare pass him,
Yeah.
because I was worried. But today someone almost hit me at 10:04 this morning coming off of Kirk Road. And I can't even think of the road, but it's they were taking a right on red, which was fine. I was in the left-hand lane of Kirk. This guy was turning onto the right, never went to the right lane, started coming right out in front of me. And literally I just beat my horn and I stopped. And the person continued on in front of me, but never even saw me, I guess.
So for the remainder of the show, I'd really like to focus on some more Scott's driving stories. Do you have a few more that you could share with us, Scott?
Well, in 1977,
there was a blue BMW. No,
I just think driving is really, it's important because people get caught up racing with each other, following each other. It just drives me nuts.
Road
Or
rage.
texting, looking at their phone, doing whatever. Especially, I mean, think about our motorcycles out there. You're on your phone texting, a motorcycle is coming up, you're not going to see that person. We see so many accidents happen because people are distracted, and then our smaller vehicles are the ones that get affected as a result of it. So especially during summer, we have more people out there on their motorcycles. I obviously have no ability to drive one because I can barely drive my own car correctly. But you have to be careful about the motorcycle riders. So I just wanted to put that out there too.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yep.
So what else? What else do we have to think about as we get into the summer months?
There are no questions today?
Not yet. I
we're
think everybody's just enthralled in all of Scott's driving stories.
Any questions for Julia? We can make her answer something too.
Yeah, what's it like being an intern for these people?
I don't think I can answer that question without losing my job.
No, I'm kidding.
Already taught her about the Fifth Amendment rights, huh?
Great response.
What did I tell you about who gets the jokes here?
No, she's going to be a natural.
She
This
is.
would be great. Perfect
All right.
politician.
Well, is there anything else that we want to cover before we wrap up and let people know how they can contact you and get in touch with you guys?
I think I'm good. We
Yeah.
hit the main points, and we'll keep everybody posted on the justice reform bill as best we can by social media, by news media. It seems to have kind of fallen off the news media's
Justice reform
radar.
law. I was informed
Oh,
today
yes,
it's no
I'm
longer
sorry.
a bill, it's
Yes.
a law.
So it is a law. As we continue to massage this law into something that's usable and safe for the public, we will keep everybody posted.
Okay.
It's
So
great
then,
to talk to you.
well, how do people get in touch with you guys?
Oh, so for me, just go to kanesheriff.com, click on the sheriff tab, and you see my email and my phone number right there.
Kane County State's Attorney's website. We're hopefully soon rolling out our new one, as well as our Facebook page that's going to go along with it. And ask any questions or give us topics of things to talk about. We love to talk, obviously.
Driving.
You contact Scott Mackay for that.
I think we did that, right? We covered it. Sheriff Ron Hain and State's Attorney Mosser, thank you very much. And we look forward to you next time in the studio, Sheriff.
Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.